What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the NFL divisional round and just a recap of it basically because it was so crazy. I kind of had to talk about it. Everything that went on was just absolutely incredible. It was everything we could possibly wanted out of NFL divisional weekend and more, I feel like. Unsurprisingly, the most or the least interesting game happened to be the most watched game. I believe the Texans and Chiefs broke the viewership record for most views in a game. It was 30 something mil watching the Texans and Chiefs game because everybody was thinking like, "Oh, the Texans actually have a shot at beating these Chiefs." And people were generally pretty right about that because the Chiefs haven't looked, and we say it every year, but the Chiefs haven't looked this vulnerable in a long time. So, for that reason, it was an exciting matchup going into it, but it actually ended up being the least exciting matchup of all the ones we watched, in my opinion. The Chiefs, it was basically pretty close, like for most of the game, and then things started to get a little unstuck for the Texans, and Chiefs ended up taking it out, and Patrick Mahomes, what is it, his seventh or eighth straight AFC Championship game that he's going to? But yeah, this has been a little disappointing for the Texans because they definitely could have played better. Definitely could have played better. The Chiefs' defense, is obviously guys like Trent McDuffie. There is a dog in the secondary, and then you have like the front seven that is absolutely devastating on that pass rush, especially like George Karlaftis, people like that. But ended up Texans are going home, Chiefs are going to the AFC Championship, and that seems like it was written in the stars since they're going for this three-peat. And we'll see how they do. But then going on to the other side in the AFC. Actually, I don't want to talk about it yet. I don't want to talk about that just yet. Let's go over the Commanders and Lions because wow, 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 wow. Oh my gosh, Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is a maestro out there. He is looking like a seasoned veteran, and he's a rookie. They just took down the Lions, who were favored by all odds-on favorites by everybody, the media, by the bookmakers, to go to the Super Bowl this year out of the NFC, and the Commanders absolutely dismantled them. The passing offense was incredible coming from Jaden Daniels, to especially like Terry McLaurin, those types of cats. But even Austin Eckler got a little shifty out there. The Commanders are looking like, in my opinion, and I'll go over a little bit about why. In my opinion, the Commanders are looking real good to go into the Super Bowl with Jaden Daniels as a rookie. And the Lions, they actually, played better than what the stats will say and how the game looked on offense. They played better than that because they would have been up, and we all knew this was probably going to be a shootout, but we just thought going into it that the Lions were going to come out of it unscathed. Like, the Lions, if Jared Goff hadn't played so damn horribly, the Lions win this game. The turnovers were just ridiculous. The turnovers from Jared Goff weren't even they weren't even remotely unavoidable. If Jared Goff plays like he has all year today, or not today, but on Sunday or Saturday, I mean, the Lions win this game. Obviously, the defense, there was a lot to be desired, and in my opinion, Aaron Glenn is not to blame. They've just been dealing with mad injuries. So many injuries to first and second string defense players for the Lions in an NFC divisional game. It's not a recipe for success. But the wild part is that they held up, fairly well. Obviously, the passing defense wasn't there, but we all knew this was going to be a shootout going into it, and it was going to be a shootout if Jared Goff didn't play so damn horribly. And the Lions would have come out of this on top. But congratulations to Jaden Daniels. He's been amazing. I can't wait to see what he does in the NFC Championship game. Then the Rams and the Eagles, obviously, Saquon turned up. He took over the game, absolutely. Jalen Hurts played pretty well. Jalen Hurts having, what was it? Well, Jalen Hurts didn't play the best, but he also didn't play bad because he didn't force any takeaways. Saquon Barkley, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts ran for 1, of course, and he ran for 70 yards as well. Saquon over 200 yards. Just an all-around good game for the Eagles, sustained. And the Rams, there were some late-game theatrics, but the Rams didn't end up getting it done. Unfortunate, and we're now seeing a situation in which we could see Matt Stafford retire. He hasn't decided on his future yet, but we'll be hearing from that within the coming weeks or months or whatever it might be, I'd imagine. As far as the Eagles go, here's why I think even though Saquon is playing like absolutely the best running back in the league by far and away, even though he's playing that way, I still don't think that they are actually favorites going into this this championship game matchup, and here's why. If you're the Eagles, first 2 games of these playoffs, you've started out kind of slow. You haven't really taken over until damn near the fourth quarter or the end. You start out slow, even though you've had kept it close. It's been sustained football, getting good scores, getting good stops, really good blocking on the O-line. Here's why you are not favorites going into the matchup with the Commanders, even though you're looking so dominant in the rushing game and the blocking game. Because you can't afford to start slow versus the Commanders. The Commanders showed against the Lions that they are going to absolutely put up points. They're going to run up the score. So if you start slow versus the Commanders, you're going to be in a place in which you are down at least 2 scores if you start slow. So the Eagles can't play like they've been playing these past couple games going into this Commanders game. If the Commanders defense holds up and Cliff Kingsbury, of course, continues his absolute masterclass when it comes to offensive play calling, it's going to be a good look for the Commanders. And so I think I like the Commanders going into this. And I would definitely recommend the Eagles take heed in terms of the way they prepare for this game. They need to start off strong on offense, and their defense needs to come up big. But there's only so much you can do when it comes to stopping Jaden Daniels. The last game, the Bills and the Ravens. Absolute cinema. I'm absolutely speechless by the result. And Lamar doesn't deserve this. Lamar does not deserve this. Of course, it looked pretty bad at first going into into halftime because he had a couple takeaways that he had caused, interception, fumble. Ravens defense was coming up huge. Ravens defense was coming up real huge, and they find themselves in a place in which they are down 5. I believe they're down 5 in the fourth quarter. All they need to do is score, and there was a big stop actually holding the Bills to 3 on that possession, I remember. Big stop. The Bills are up 5. They need a score. Lamar Jackson, of course, comes up big on, I believe, 2nd or 3rd down and long. Mark Andrews catches it at midfield. He tries to be cute with it, though. He could have just gone through and pushed through the contact like he normally does. Something was wrong with him today. What the hell? He tries to get cute with it, tries to get shifty when that's not your game, man. At least at this point, at least at this stage of your career. And whoever was it, Matt Milano or whoever it was, comes through at the last second and knocks the ball out when he's trying to get shifty. Fumble recovered by Damar Hamlin. Bills ball. After you just converted a huge first down at midfield, in which you need one more first down to get points in that situation. I could not believe it. I could not believe it, and I couldn't imagine it got any worse than that. But the Ravens defense comes up big again. The Ravens defense comes up big again, and they force them to 3. Bills are up by 8. I couldn't imagine that after that it could get any worse, because we know how Lamar is in that 2-minute drill. I was wrong. Lamar scores within 30 seconds of that drive, or maybe it was a minute and a half, maybe. It was a little bit over 2 minutes, if I remember time left. They score with like 1:33 left. Isaiah Likely, beautiful touchdown. Beautiful catch. Great throw. Lamar just shows absolute poise, as he always does, and how I predicted he would in these playoffs. They score 6. You're down 2. What do you have to do? Go for a 2-point conversion. Snaps the ball. Designed rollout to the right. Lamar going right. The whole team sliding that way. O-line shifting that way. Everybody following the right side. Lofted ball. Not even a laser. Not even a dart. It wasn't even really a loft. It was a medium strength pass. Very, very average pass. Like, a very average strength pass. Hits Mark Andrews in the midsection, right in the cradle, on the hands. He's falling. Bops it. Drops it, and bops it. In the shallow end of the end zone with no contact. The announcers were pump faked. The announcers were pump faked because the announcers thought that, oh my gosh, he's got it. He says, got it. Jim Nantz goes, yes. And then the absolute just underwhelming sigh that follows that. I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe my eyes because there was zero contact on that play. Mark Andrews is falling. Lamar gives him a pretty solid pass right where you want it, in your hands, especially as you're falling. Two in a row, he just completely sold Lamar's legacy. 2 drives in a row. Lamar does not deserve this. If you're Lamar, where do you go from here? Do you keep wanting to do this same damn thing with the Ravens? Do you trade away Harbaugh? Do a coach trade? Do you trade him away? What do you do? Where do you go from here? Because it seems like it's the same old story, man. Like, Lamar is playing pretty bad, pretty average, very, very average going into the half. And then down the stretch, he starts to turn it up. And then something happens that's absolutely, out of this world, outlandish, that you can't believe your eyes as what's happening in a key pivotal moment, and you lose a big game like that in a year where you're having an MVP year. How many more MVP years you have left, Lamar? A few? 3, 4, 5? When is enough for you to no longer want to be a part of the Ravens with different combinations of building around you? They're in a great spot. I get it. They are. How much more can you do? So those are questions that he's going to have to ask himself, or the Ravens organization is going to have to ask himself as to what they do. Harbaugh's a great coach. There was nothing wrong with necessarily the play calling. They adjusted really well. This is a great coach game. They start to adjust to the fact that Lamar might not be having the best game, so let's make it a game about Derrick Henry and Justice Hill running it up you're running it down your throat. And they adjust super well to every single situation to stay in the game where it looks like you're down and out. So it's not even coaching, but there has to be a scapegoat. Of course, Mark Andrews is the big scapegoat, but like, as part of the bigger picture, who are you going to blame? So those are questions you have to ask yourself. That sets up for Bills to go into a Chiefs AFC Championship matchup. Hopefully the Chiefs can't not get away with this any longer. Everybody talks about, the refs playing a big role in the Chiefs' success and everything. And to a certain extent, that's true. But like, I saw a lot of the plays that people were complaining about, like different calls, late hits, things like that, and it's like to me that I could have definitely seen why the refs would have called that in the moment, and even after replay review, could have definitely seen it. I feel like people are whining at this point. Patrick Mahomes, of course, I can't even tell you how crazy that throw was, falling down and to hit Travis Kelce in the end zone. They keep getting away with it, man. Are they going to keep doing it? Probably. And I'll be damned if I root for the Bills over the Chiefs as a Jets fan. I can't root for the Bills. I don't like the Bills. But they're damn good. So we'll see. Bills versus Chiefs in the championship game. Of course, Eagles versus Commanders. Are we going to see the young buck Jaden Daniels versus Patrick Mahomes, who is looking like he's going to be the all-time GOAT? Stay tuned. AFC Championship game next week. Make sure you drop a like. If you want to see my recap, subscribe, and follow me on all socials in the description. So, peace.